Society taught you to hide your failures, to be ashamed of them, to never speak about them in public. Today, I want to show you why that is the most damaging advice you have ever been given, and why the thing you have been hiding is actually the most powerful thing you possess. Let me ask you something. When you scroll through social media, what do you see? Highlights, wins, achievements, success stories. Everyone is looking polished. Everyone looks like they have it all together. Everyone looks like they woke up one day and everything just worked. And without even realizing it, you start to believe a lie that successful people do not fail, that the people you admire got where they are without the mess, the pain, and the setbacks that seem to follow you everywhere. And so you do what society taught you to do with your failures. You hide them, you bury them, you pretend they did not happen. And every time you do, you unknowingly bury the most powerful asset you will ever have. Today I want to show you exactly why your failures are not your shame. They are your qualifications. Here is the false belief I want to address today. Successful people never talk about their failures. This belief is everywhere. We live in a world that celebrates arrival but never shows the journey. That shows the trophy but never the tears behind it. That shares the highlight reel but edits out every moment of doubt, fear, and failure that made the highlight possible. And because we only ever see the finished product, we assume the process was clean. We assume they had it together from the beginning. We assume failure is something that happens to ordinary people but somehow bypasses extraordinary ones. But here is the truth that changes everything. Every single person you admire failed, repeatedly, painfully, publicly sometimes. The difference between them and the people who never broke through is not that they failed less, it is that they used their failures differently. If we look at Romans chapter 8 verse 28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, those who have been called according to his purpose." In all things, not only in the good things, not only in the comfortable things, not in the seasons where everything is going according to plan. In all things. That means your failures are not outside of God's plan for your life. They are part of it. Every disappointment, every setback, every moment when you tried and it did not work, God was working in all of it. Not to punish you, not to shame you, but to prepare you for something that required exactly what that failure taught you. Your story is not ruined by your failures. Your story is made powerful because of them. Let me show you something that will completely change how you see your past. Think about the most influential teachers, leaders, and builders you know. What makes their message land so powerfully? It is not their credentials. It is not their degrees. It is not the titles next to their names. It is their story. Specifically, the part of their story where everything went wrong. Because that is the part that makes you lean in. That is the part that makes you think they understand what I'm going through. That is the part that builds trust faster than any qualification ever could. Here is what most people never understand about failure. Failure is not the opposite of your story. Failure is your story. It is the part that makes your message real. It is the part that makes people believe you. It is the part that qualifies you to speak into the lives of the very people you are trying to help. Think about it this way. Who would you rather take health advice from? Someone who has always been healthy and has never struggled a day in their life? Or someone who was sick, fought their way back, and now knows exactly what that journey feels like from the inside? The person with the struggle is always more credible because they have been where you are and they found a way through. That is exactly what your failures do for the people you are called to serve. They prove that you have been where they are and that you found a way through. Your failure is not your disqualification, it is your greatest credential. I want to be honest with you about something today. For a long time, I was ashamed of certain parts of my story. The times I tried things and they did not work. The moments where I fell short of what I believed I was capable of. The seasons where I looked around and felt like everyone else was moving forward while I was standing still. I kept those parts hidden. I thought if people knew about those moments, they would not take me seriously. They would see the failure before they saw the person. But something shifted in me when I realized this. The parts of my story I was most ashamed of were the exact parts that connected most deeply with the people I was trying to reach. When I started sharing the struggle, not just the success, everything changed. People stopped seeing me as someone with answers from a distance. They started seeing me as someone who understood their pain from the inside. And that connection, that real, honest, human connection, is what opened doors that no credential or qualification ever could. Your story, including the painful parts, is not a liability. It is your greatest bridge to the people who need what you carry. So, how do you start using your failures instead of hiding them? Here is one simple shift I want you to make today. Stop calling them failures and start calling them formation, because that is what they were. Every moment that did not work out was forming something in you: patience, resilience, wisdom, empathy, depth. Things that cannot be taught in a classroom, things that can only be developed through experience. And the experiences that develop the most in you are never the easy ones. They are always the ones that cost you something. So today I want you to think of one failure you have been hiding, one part of your story you have been ashamed of, and ask yourself this question: what did the experience form in me that nothing else could have? Because when you can answer that question honestly, you will stop seeing that experience as something that happened to you and start seeing it as something that happened for you. That one shift will change how you carry your past and how you use it going forward. I want to try something different today. Most people scroll past comments without reading them. But I want this comment section to be different. If there is one failure or struggle from your past that you have been carrying as shame, and you are ready to reframe it as a formation, share it here, not because you have to, but because sometimes putting it in writing is what finally releases its power over you. This is a safe space, and you might be surprised how many people are carrying the exact same thing. Here is what I want you to sit with after this video ends. The most powerful stories ever told are not stories of smooth, uninterrupted success. They are stories of people who fell and got back up and fell again and got back up again, until getting back up became so natural that falling lost its power to stop them. Think about every person whose story has ever moved you, every testimony that made you believe change was possible for you too. What made it powerful was not the victory at the end, it was the valley in the middle, the part where everything looked finished, the part where quitting would have made complete sense, the part where they kept going anyway. That is your story too. You just have not finished writing it yet. And the chapters you are most ashamed of are the ones that are going to move people the most. The ones that are going to make someone somewhere say, if they could get through that, maybe I can get through this.